ASUS claims that the DCI P3 color gamut coverage is only 98%. However, we found it to be 100% in our tests.
That's not normal, that a manufacturer actually is giving a lower number than what we find
a higher number. So that's very good.
This is a CineD review, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi guys, I'm Johnnie from CineD and I'm here with Gunther. Gunther, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Gunther is the one who is in charge on all our camera lab tests, but also Gunther is now checking some monitors, displays, and this time we want to talk about a new 6K monitor from ASUS. You remember the number? I'm always struggling with the numbers.
Yeah, it's the ASUS ProArt PA32QCV display.
Gunther, before we dive and talk about the ProArt 6K monitor, let's do a short recap about the 4K monitor that you tested previously from also from ASUS.
Yeah, the previous ASUS monitor that I tested is the 4K OLED model. The model designation is PA32UCDM, and that's a 1000 nits brightness OLED monitor, meaning it also has true blacks, 1000 nits peak brightness, and it claims that it had a delta E, meaning a color accuracy of less than 1.
The lower the number,
the lower the number, the better, because it shows the difference between the input color and the measured color with a colorimeter.
Okay, so let's put this aside. You are very happy with this monitor, and let's talk about the 6K one that you just tested. So first of all, this is not OLED, am I right?
Yeah, that's an IPS panel, so that's based on LED, light emitting diode technology, and that also means that it cannot show true blacks, because there's always an illumination affecting the blacks, and it also has less peak brightness. It only has 600 nits peak brightness. I mean, it's certified for HDR content, but only up to 600 nits brightness.
And this is something that you could really see the difference immediately when you...
No, you would see it if you use a lot of HDR content, if you display a lot of HDR content. So this is really relevant for HDR. For SDR, immediately you don't see the difference. You just find it is a very nice monitor. I've used it for more than 2 weeks, doing office work, doing video work, doing color grading as well. Why am I mentioning the color grading? Because also this monitor claims that it has a color accuracy delta E of less than 2, which is also very, very good, because typically up to a color difference delta E of 4, 5, you start, an untrained eye starts to notice the difference. So delta E of 2, less than 2 is very good.
Shall we run a short video quickly and just show how you measured the delta E?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Again, we used the typical setup that I have. It's a Datacolor Spider Pro 2024 colorimeter, and using the Datacolor Spider Pro 6.1 software, and here we go. So I'm going to test now the new ASUS 6K monitor, which has the designation ASUS ProArt PA32QCV. It's an IPS panel, as mentioned, 6K, and ASUS claims that the delta E, which is basically the difference between the input color and the measured color from the screen, is below 2. And if that's really true, it would be fantastic, because delta E values below 2 are really very, very good. For this purpose, I have now started the Spider Pro 6.1 software on my monitor, including the Spider Pro 2024 colorimeter. And let's get going, and let's start our tests. Very good. So I have to place now the colorimeter on the central spot here. And now let's roll the tests. I'm first doing the color gamut. This is how well the monitor basically represents the color space of sRGB, P3, and so on. The next thing I'm basically measuring now is the gamma curve. Now I'm also looking into luminance and contrast. And we will see how well the preset of the gamma 2.2 corresponds to the measurement that I did. So I've set the monitor to a gamma curve of 2.2, and let's see if the measurements accurately reflect that. Okay, now we have the 100% value. That should also be good. Now let's have a look at the colors. I'm testing now with 48 colors. So this is the delta E test. We're going to have a look now how well an input of 48 different colors is represented on the monitor, is measured on the monitor. And as mentioned before, a delta E value below 2, meaning the difference between the input color and the measured color, would really be a very, very good result, especially for an IPS panel that this monitor is. I've also used this monitor already for my daily work, and it is a big pro actually to have such a large monitor, 32 inches, with 6K resolution, because you can place like your mail program in one corner of the screen, you can place PowerPoint in another corner of the screen, Word, and you have a lot of real estate to work with. Great, so this is now ready. And now let's have a look at the results. The first thing we can see, it represents 100% of sRGB, 88% of Adobe RGB, and 100% of P3. This is actually better than the claim of ASUS. They only claimed 98% of P3. Next thing, let's have a look at the gamma. Okay, I set the monitor to a gamma of 2.2 and measured, we get 2.3. So there's a slight deviation of the gamma curve. And here you can also see, with regards to the Kelvin, which white balance was set on the monitor and how well that white balance is represented across different RGB or luma values. Good. The next thing is luma contrast and the white point. You can see different luma values here, all around 480, with a contrast of 1450 to 1, with 6700 as the white balance point. I've set the monitor to 6500, that's quite good. Then you can see here, yeah, that was the luma. And now let's have a look at the colors. Now this is the delta E. And we can see now all the 48 different colors. And so far, actually they are all below 2. Yeah. The biggest deviation, delta E, we get is 1.5. The smallest is 0.12, and on average we get 0.7 delta E across all the 48 colors. This is another very good result. Fine. Let's see what the Spider Pro software says. Yeah, looking at the color gamut range and the representation, it's got a 5 out of 5, the contrast is 5 out of 5, and also the delta E 4.5, so very good, very nice result. So I will print this result and also now put it into our review. As usual, please have a look also at the CineD site for the article where all the data and the numbers can be found. Fine. Thanks. Back to the studio. Okay,
Gunther. So obviously the delta E is very good, but there is some small issue with the gamma.
Yeah,
what is it exactly?
Yeah, so the gamma, I set the gamma curve of the monitor to 2.2, and the Data Color Spider Pro colorimeter measured a gamma of 2.3. So that's a slight deviation. So if you're very picky about how contrasty your images are and so, you should notice there's a slight deviation there. But I have to say the delta E claims of ASUS are really good. Delta E claim of less than 2, and we got 1.5 as the maximum deviation, with most of the colors actually being less than 1, with an average across all colors of 0.7, so that's very, very good. There was another surprise that we found, because ASUS claims that the DCI P3 color gamut coverage is only 98%. However, we found it to be 100% in our tests.
That's not normal, that a manufacturer actually is giving a lower number than what we find a
higher number. So that's very good. And I think it also reinforces the claim that ASUS has, that you can use it on your MacBook with the full coverage like a retina display of the DCI P3 color space. So check mark on that claim.
Just a quick question here regarding the gamma the small shift that we have here, is this is something you can improve with a software update? For example, if ASUS will have a future firmware update for the monitor?
Yeah, I think so. That should be possible. And also I think after the display maybe has run for a while, a month or 2 months, and you recalibrate it, anyway we advise to recalibrate the display every month. Probably next month when I recalibrate it, I might find that it is closer to the Gamma 2.2, but for now there's a slight deviation there.
Did you run any other tests on the monitor to verify the quality of picture?
Yeah, I mean, not really tests, but I mean, you use it in your daily work for office work, like writing Word documents, having PowerPoints open, stuff like that. For this, a 6K monitor, of course, is really good because you have a lot of screen estate. You can put lots of applications close to each other. That is very nice. And of course, I've also run my normal video work and color grading work on this monitor, and I was very happy with it. It's a very good monitor.
So you would recommend it for
Yes.
color grading also next to office work?
Yes.
Sounds like an all-arounder.
It's a very nice all-around package, so I can definitely recommend it. However, there was the one thing, switching back to the initially mentioned 4K OLED ASUS PA32UCDM, you can definitely see when you switch back that the brilliance, somehow the way the image is displayed is just better. And in that scenario, I actually would say the OLED monitor is just $500 or $600 more expensive than this 6K display. And you might argue, okay, but it's just a 4K display. But I don't care so much about the pixels. It's really about the brilliance of the OLED display. If you have the additional dollars, I would invest into the OLED display. With the true blacks, with the high brightness, it's just an edge better.
The little extra.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's even hard to explain when we talk.
Exactly.
But we all know, especially if you're editing, that there is sometimes there is something.
There's something that makes a difference. Yes, definitely.
Good. One thing that I like in general with many of the ASUS monitors is the ability to power them with a single cable, a USB-C cable. Let's talk a little bit about connectivity and how you find is it flexible or limiting?
I mean, it's very nice. You have this Thunderbolt 4 connectivity to your laptop. It runs on 96 watts, so you can also daisy chain it, like put multiple devices on it. That's very nice. You run a single cable and you have all you need. You power your laptop, you have the image on the screen and everything. So that's very nice. And also, I mean, you have the typical features here. You can adjust the height, you can adjust the tilt, you can adjust like the inclination and everything. So very nice setup.
So actually it's very flexible in terms of how you want to mount it and look at it.
Absolutely.
So when you talked about the pricing, do you remember the pricing by heart? Or?
Yeah, I think it was $1,399
for the 6K.
For the 6K display, and $1,899, if I remember correctly, for the 4K display OLED.
Anything else that I forgot to ask that you want to mention before?
Maybe one little thing, that on the 4K OLED display, the PA32UCDM, there's a little fan built into it, because the OLED display can get quite hot, and then the little fan would cool it down, and you can sometimes hear it faintly in the background. Whereas on the 6K display, it also gets hot, but there's no hearable, no audible sound. So that's maybe a little advantage of the 6K display. But it does get hot as well, sure.
Bottom line, if it was up to you to decide between the 6K or the 4K, which one would you buy? And
the
again,
4K
it's a very honest opinion here.
Now for me, the reference is the 4K OLED. I would definitely go for this one, especially if you're into color work and video work.
Okay. Guys, it is what it is, no? I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's a nice monitor with a lot of real estate to work and do some stuff. Yeah. But maybe if you're looking for the little extra, and you do have a bit of more money to spend, the 4K will be the better choice. Okay. Yes. Gunther, thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny.
Guys, thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.